One of the most common objects you will encounter in Inkscape are paths. The best way to explain to you what a path is to actually show you, but before I will create myself a grid because it's going to be much easier to work with path when drawing them on a grid. So the basic tools to draw paths are the three right here: the Bezier curve, the freehand tool, and the brush stroke tool. I usually only use the Bezier curve tool because I like to have straight lines. So to draw a path, you basically click and then move around to draw a shape. And then you can either connect it back to the starting point or right click. So this is a path. Another useful way of creating paths is to simply create an object and then go in the path menu and convert it to a path. This is no longer a rectangle as listed here. It is now a path of 4 nodes. To see the nodes present in a path and edit them, you select the Path Node tool. And now you see my 4 nodes for my rectangle. In the same way, if I select this object, I will see all of the nodes. I can move them around, and if I click on the lines, I can change their curves. I can even see the tangent line of each node if I click on it. To give you another example, I will draw a very well known and used symbol. So because they're objects, you can actually set the fill color and the stroke color of a path. The fill will be the inside and the stroke would be the region traced by the line. In the case of this object, if I set the fill color to red, this is what happens. However, you may notice that this segment right here, which was not closed, does not appear in the stroke color. I can make it more obvious if I make the stroke color bigger. To actually connect it, you can select the node tool, select both nodes, and then close them. Or leave them open, it's up to you. There's a lot of tools here to deal with the nodes and the way the curve works. For instance, you can set a node to be symmetric and smooth. That way, if I change this curve, the other one changes as well. This also leaves us with something that can be a bit confusing. For instance, if I have a path like this, I can create a node here. I cannot join these 2 nodes, for instance, because every node of a path needs to have only 2 connection points. I can do this, however, if I unconnect these 2, and these 2, I can now join both of these and both of these. Now I have 2 triangles. Oh, it looks like they're grouped. I will ungroup them. It doesn't seem to work. This is because this is not a group of 2 objects. This is a single object, a single path that has 6 nodes. So sometimes you will think you have many objects that are grouped, but they're in fact just a single path that has many nodes. Some are connected, some aren't. You can, however, still separate them. To do so, you can go into Path and Break Apart. This will separate into distinct objects every path that is disconnected. So now I have my 2 triangles. I can of course group them and be in a position much like before. However, now it's a group of two objects, not a single path. There's a lot of ways you can work with path. You can create union of paths. Or intersections. Divisions, exclusion, and so on and so forth. You can also recombine them. Now for the rest of the video I will be drawing some objects that I'm fairly certain you will be familiar with. So here we are. Granted, I'm not the best artist, but this is just to show you how to use the tools we've seen so far to create drawings and basic icons.